Okay, Shalom Aleichem. Do you hear me?
Everyone's muted.
Are you able to hear me?
Everyone's muted.
Somebody just, one person unmute, so I know I'm not talking to the walls.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, it is my honor and pleasure to do this. This is actually based on the minhagim that the Rebbe writes one should do on his birthday, and one's birthday is to be part of one of the meisters of the Rebbe and to speak about the accomplishments of the Rebbe, what the Rebbe does. So, especially in a day like Yud Aleph Nissan, especially a day like Yud Aleph Nissan, where we as Hasidim are here to celebrate the Rebbe's birthday and see what we could learn and give nachas to the Rebbe. This is a special time to dedicate ourselves as children, as youngsters, as children to the Rebbe, to see where we could grow in our iskashrus. Now, the Rebbe, many of his sichos, the Rebbe would always, when he spoke about the Yom Tovim connected to the Frierdiker Rebbe, the Rebbe would say, if there are certain halachas associated or attributed to a person's father, where a person has to make a bracha, he goes to a place where his father was saved, you have to make a bracha. The Rebbe would say, for example, on Yud Beis Tammuz, how much more it is for your spiritual father, your Rebbe, that every chassid has to celebrate the Rebbe's special days. So Yud Aleph Nissan in our life as a Lubavitcher chassid is an extra special day, and we all should take some time to see what we could learn, how we could grow and connect ourselves more to our spiritual father, to our father, the Rebbe. Now, if you look back in history of all tzaddikim, even of our rabbeim, you will not find any Rebbe that put more emphasis on the children than our Rebbe. Obviously, you all know by Shavuos, the Rebbe wants everybody to come to hear the Aseres Adibros, because even Hashem says that by Matan Torah, because of the children, because of the guarantee that the children took upon themselves, that's why He gave us the Torah. But throughout the generations, the one tzaddik that put a special emphasis on children was our Rebbe. We all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Moised Tzivos Hashem, where the Rebbe took and started a special institution specifically for kids to motivate them, to excite them, to get closer and do more and more Torah mitzvahs. Tzivos Hashem, Yud Aleph Nissan, is just a couple of days away from Pesach, and Tzivos Hashem is actually a pasuk which is clearly written on Pesach. The pasuk says in Parshas Boy, when the Torah describes the Yidden leaving Mitzrayim, so the pasuk says, "Vayihi miketz shleishim shana." Shleishim shana v'arba me'ah shana was 430 years. Vayihi ba'etzem hayom hazeh, smack in the middle of the day, Yotzu kol Tzivos Hashem me'eretz Mitzrayim. All Tzivos Hashem left Mitzrayim. And that's how it was by Moshe Rabbeinu's times, that the Tzivos Hashem left. And of course, the Rebbe, our leader, the Rebbe said our job is to leave Golus. So the Rebbe makes our Tzivos Hashem and starts it with the youngsters, the young children, all under and bar and bas mitzvah. And he says, okay, it's our time to leave our Mitzrayim, our Golus, and that's going to be also with our Tzivos Hashem. The Rebbe showed tremendous love, tremendous care to Tzivos Hashem. The Rebbe started also, this is things that we could all grow and make sure that we have our checklist done. The Rebbe wanted that every child should have a letter in the Sefer Torah that he wrote, that he asked to be written for Tzivos Hashem, specifically for Tzivos Hashem. The Rebbe took Tzivos Hashem very, very serious. There is a story of a young French child that once walked by the Rebbe, and he was wearing a cap, a Tzivos Hashem cap, but it wasn't just. Could everybody please press star 6? If we hear too much echo. Somebody, everybody, please make sure to press star 6. The Rebbe once saw a young French young child wearing a Tzivos Hashem cap, but the Tzivos Hashem cap was one that was like for a general or a captain, and the Rebbe actually turned to the child and said, "What ranking are you?" And the kid says, "I just got a cap, and I don't really have any ranking." So the Rebbe responded by saying that to wear a cap like that, a cap of a general, a cap of a commander in Tzivos Hashem, you actually have to get points. And the points, we all know, being in school, you know exactly how you get points in the army of Hashem. The Rebbe also said that the greatness of Tzivos Hashem is that whereas you go to any other secular army or Veltisha army, the way you win the war is with bombs and guns and negative things. This is the only army in the world, in the existence of mankind, that the way you win the war is by positive actions, by spreading light. And every Yid has, especially the children, who are the Tzivos Hashem, who are going to take us out of this Golus, has the responsibility to spread light, to increase in his own light and his fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs. The Rebbe once told Rabbi Hecht in a children rally that they should sing Napoleon's March while the children were by the rally. And the Rebbe explained, obviously, Tzivos Hashem is Tzivos Hashem is an army, and the way they train soldiers to go out to wage war is to go out with a simcha de ketun, a march. And the Rebbe wanted that the children too to realize their great strength and their great strength and power they're able to accomplish, and that you especially have that when you do it mitoich simcha. Tzivos Hashem and the Rebbe's campaigns with children is directly connected to the Yontiv of Pesach. We all know that perhaps the biggest highlight or the biggest dogesh stress that we have on Pesach, we think it's mitzvah achilas matzah and the Seder. But even the Seder, the most important part of the Seder are the children. V'yigada televincha. And you have to tell your child, you have to tell all the children that what happened back then in Yetzias Mitzrayim, or in Mitzrayim, happens today. And what happened back then, that Moshe Rabbeinu took us out, the Eibishter through Moshe Rabbeinu took us out of Mitzrayim, and the Tzivos Hashem left Mitzrayim, is happening now too. And we have the responsibility, we have the mitzvah to teach our children to live with this. And we all have the koichos to be able to break through the Mitzarim, break through Mitzrayim, and be redeemed. I want to share with you two short Dvar Torahs. Number one is the famous one that's brought in many Svarim, the Rebbe brings it too. We know that the name of the Yontif, we call the Yontif Chag HaPesach. When you daven over and over again in davening, the Yontif is not referred to as Chag HaPesach. The Yontif is called Chag HaMatzos. And Rabbi Yitzchak Mibaditchev is known to explain a beautiful pshat. He would say that the Yidden, when they refer to this Yontif, the Yidden say how great HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. The Eibishter was so great that he is Pesach. Pesach means he skipped over. He was going from house to house in Mitzrayim doing the job of Makas B'chayres, but he saved every Yid. So the Yidden say how great the Eibishter is. When the Torah speaks in davening, when the Torah refers to the Yom Tif, the Torah calls it Chag HaMatzos, because the Torah is saying how great the Yidden are. How great the Yidden are, that when Hashem says go, they run. They run, they're not interested in making sure the bread rises and they have kokosh cake. They just run for their life because Hashem says it's time to go. And perhaps both of these points, how great Hashem is and how great the Yidden are, that is what the Moshe Rabbeinu of our generation taught us too. That we go out throughout the world and we say how each and every Yid is important, how each and every Yid is special, from the youngest to the oldest, wherever you live. Every Yid is special in the Eibishter's eyes, and every Yid is special in our eyes. And we'll do everything to teach them Torah. And of course, we teach them Torah because Torah is what the Eibishter is all about. There was nobody greater in history than what the Rebbe taught us to do, teach us the love of Klal Yisrael and teach us the love of the Eibishter. There is a beautiful story that will summarize this point. There is the famous story of a individual that back then in Russia, a lot of Yidden made a parnasa from owning a pub, a small bar where they would sell mashka to the shikurim, to the goyim, and that's the way they would make a parnasa. One time, there was in the time of I think it was the time of the Shpala Zayda, Avram Yeshua Hashov Upta, that there was one of the Yiddish bar owners that didn't have a successful year, and he didn't make enough money to pay the bill. And the owner, the Goyish owner, the Paritz of the town, came in and he asked for his money, and they came and he obviously didn't have the money, so they broke everything. They broke his barrels, they broke his tables. They ruined his possible parnasa. So it's broken-hearted. This chassid goes Shabbos Hagadol to the drasha of the Rav, hoping he'll find some kind of nechama, some kind of comfort. Was kan shen zayin? How could he get out of this? And he hears the Rebbe saying a very powerful word. He hears the Rebbe saying that there are two brachas that we make throughout the year. Sometimes there's a bracha that we finish off by saying Ga'al Yisrael. Ga'al Yisrael means Hashem redeemed us in the past. We say that in Kriya Shema, we say that in Agadah, we say Ga'al Yisrael. And there are sometimes in Shemot Esrei we say Goyel Yisrael. Hashem presently redeems us. So this Rebbe is giving his Chassidim a sicha, and he was saying, yes, Hashem redeemed us in the past, but you have to know that every Yid in his generation now too deserves that it should not only be Go'al Yisrael, a thing of the past, but it should be a Goyel Yisrael. Every Yid deserves that Hashem should help him and redeem him now from his own sorrows. When this Yid heard the Rebbe saying this, he became Molei Simcha. He got the bracha from the Rebbe. Incidentally, this is the most important lesson you could learn from all the stories and from Yud Aleph Nissan. When a Rebbe says something, if you understand or you don't understand, Vayaminu ba'Hashem u'v'Moshe avdoi, just by hearing it from the words of the mouth of the Rebbe, you accept it and you know already it's a good. It's a sure thing, it's good. He hears the Rebbe saying, Goyel Yisrael, that the Geula is not only something of the past, it's happening now. The Chassid already is Molei Simcha. He comes home, he's dancing, he's freilach. That day, later on the day, the Parit says, let me go send my buddies to see how did this Yid take this punishment of ours. And he went down to see what the Yid is doing in the house, and he says the Yid is jumping and dancing, he's freilach. He thought the man lost it. So he calls the Yid next day and he says, Moshe, how could you, after I broke up your whole bar, your whole situation, your whole parnasa, how could you be happy? How are you dancing? What are you dancing about? So the Yid says, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? This is what happens. This is what happened. So the Paritz came and he wanted to make some money back. So he says, you know what? I will help you. I will give you a document, so you should be able to go to the near city, and over there they'll look at the paper. They'll supply you with whatever you need, and whenever you have money, you'll be able to pay me. This is all from the Amunah that the Chassid had in his Rebbe. That the Rebbe says that Go'al Yisrael is also going to become Goyel Yisrael, causes him a tremendous Yeshua in his Parnasa. It causes every Yid, every Yid hears the Tzaddik Hadar, the Rebbe saying, you should do Tzivos Hashem, you should do Oisius and Sefer Torah, you should do increasing Torah mitzvahs, Talmud Torah, whatever mitzvah, and you accept it, there is no greater bracha. That it's not only something which is of the past, Goal Yisrael, but it's a mitzvah Hashem going to be Goyel Yisrael. B'mheirav Yameinu will all leave out of this finster galus, the real Mitzrayim of our generation.
Okay, good job everyone for joining, and I hope you have a very happy Pesach. Thank you everyone.